Good morning, everyone. I'm Doreen Christensen with the Sun Sentinel. We're coming to you this morning, again, live on Facebook from the Sun Sentinel Storm Desk. This hurricane update is brought to you and presented by the Florida Home Improvement Associates, the name you can trust for more than 40 years. Okay, things are windy. We're going to get started. We have our two experts here, and we're going to get to them. First of all, I want to introduce Talia Medina, our social media expert.
Hi,
Talia,
good morning.
Go for it.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. You guys were super active yesterday. We want to keep that up today, so please feel free to say hello, ask us any questions you have, and we'll answer them in our next show. Also share this with your friends so that they can get informed too. As I mentioned yesterday, we are collecting damage reports to create a map so that you'll know what areas to avoid and what areas to go through after the storm. So send damage reports to sunsentinel.com/Irma reports. We're also collecting all your photos and videos, either of what you're seeing from the safety of your home, as far as wind.
Don't go out in the storm and shoot video. We're not suggesting that.
As far as wind and rain and anything like that, and anything you're doing for fun to keep entertained during the storm, you can send those to your photos at sunsentinel.com or upload them directly to community.sunsentinel.com.
Okay, thank you very much, Talia. Okay, next we're going to go to Stephen Hobbs, my esteemed colleague. He is one of the many reporters we have covering the storm. What you got for us?
Well, Irma is still hitting, or right up the path of the West Coast. It's now hitting Key West. They were reporting at the National Weather Service down there that they were getting winds of 80 to 90 miles an hour gusts. The storm, Irma, has picked up some speed and is stronger. It's up to a Category 4 with maximum sustained winds of 130 miles an hour. And
that's still a very dangerous storm.
Absolutely, and still very dangerous for us. We're expecting possibility of winds hitting the South Florida region of gusts of 90 to 100 miles an hour. So this still could be affecting us, even though the threat is not as bad as we feared.
Right, and is that because it's the dirty side of the storm? Is that still a factor or not anymore?
I think it's just that the fact that, you know, whether it's the dirty side, whether it's just the outer bands, it's a wide storm, and there's a lot that whether it's wind and rain, that could really hit us.
Okay, so Miami-Dade County now is feeling the effects of the storm, and then as it moves forward, we're going to start feeling more and more in Broward and then Palm Beach County.
Yeah, as it continues to move up. The storm is expected to pass by 2 a.m. tomorrow, so really all day today.
Okay.
And even by 2 a.m., there still could be some after effects, but the main eye of the storm, which is in Key West now, should have passed us by then.
Okay, and it's narrow there, so hopefully it's passed through. And our shout out to everybody in Key West. If you're anybody down there, just stay safe, people. Okay, now we're going to go next to tornadoes. Tornadoes overnight. Tornadoes cropping up everywhere. Tell us all about this.
Yeah, I don't know if you all woke up to this, but I had a tornado warning on my phone that was overnight about 4 in the morning. There was a warning, and there was another warning for areas of Miami-Dade and Broward, including like Pembroke Pines and Hialeah, until about 8 a.m. this morning. So that just ended. It's really going to be a day where we're watching that. If you all were paying attention yesterday or saw the alerts, there was a warning and in the afternoon, and there were at least one tornado touchdown in Broward around 6 and 7.
Can I just add something right there? So these are government alert or warnings that are on your phone, on your iPhone. It's under notifications. You can find it if you don't know how. Google it on your Android device. You can go to the you can look in your notifications and turn those alerts on. You can make them loud. They'll start beeping. You can make them quiet, whatever you want to do. Another tip, just real quickly, download the Tornado by the American Red Cross app. If you still have power and cell service, do it now. That way, your phone, if you still have cell service, it will notify you if there's a tornado in your area. Make sure that your location services are turned on. Okay, go ahead.
Just one thing I want to add too, just one thing about wording for watches and warnings, whether it's a flood warning, a tornado warning, or a flood watch. Watch is that there's the possibility of something. When there's a warning, that means that there's a likelihood or a strong likelihood. So if you see something about a tornado warning in your area, that means you should really seek shelter. People should be inside anyways, but you should be really making sure that you're safe in that situation.
And then to add to that, so the warning is coming. What is it warning you to do? It's warning you to go to the safest room in your home. So you should have a room without any windows. You should have identified that by now. If you're afraid a tornado is going to hit, get everybody in that room. You know, hopefully there's a mattress nearby or something. Just hunker down and be safe and be ready. Okay, what you got?
Well, the other thing that people will be affected by today as they're in their homes is power outages, and those numbers have increased just in the past few hours this morning. FPL is reporting Miami-Dade has about 456,000 outages. Broward is over 182,000. Palm Beach is 103,000. So we're expecting that number, I would imagine, would keep rising, or at least would stay high as these winds are very strong, and utility workers probably can't really get out there at the moment and try to get power restored. So be prepared potentially, if you're in your home, to not have power for a while today.
Okay, can I just add one more thing? Okay, so your power goes out. Now what are you going to do? Hopefully you've turned your fridge down to its coldest settings. You have all your ice, you have everything ready, your coolers are ready to go. You are going to try not to open those fridges as much as possible to preserve your food. If you still have power, take a photograph of what's in the fridge, and then you can see what's in it before you open it. Open it fast, close it fast. Then get your coolers ready, and when your food starts to thaw, you start transferring it to your coolers with the ice so that you're ready and your food doesn't spoil. Because that's going to be an issue if people can't get to you. It's hard to forage for food. Okay.
We have people talking about the outages in the comments too. They're saying that Coral Springs still has power as of yet, and an area in the Southwest 18th Court and West and 9th Avenue in Fort Lauderdale is out of power. So we're getting a mix of both in the comments.
One other thing that I want to mention to everybody, and if you lose your power and you still have cell service, one of the things that you might want to consider doing is if your TV or cable goes out, you may be able to, if you have an antenna, you may be able to hook it up so that you can get news reports without your cable or whatever is going on there. If not, the other option is, if you want storm updates, we're going to be coming to you live several times a day. You still have cell service. You can tune into our live Facebook Live broadcast and at least get some updated information. In the meantime, I also want to mention, go to sunsentinel.com. Our paywall is down. You can read all of our content for free. We have a lot of reporters out in the field giving information. Feel free to log in if you still have power, you still have your internet service, you got a Wi-Fi hotspot, whatever. Do whatever you got to do, but our live broadcast might be your only link to information at some point. Find your transistor radio now. That is a very vital part of this if you start losing communications.
Two other things I just want to add, Doreen. Rainfall could still be a factor. The region is still under a flood warning until Monday, so there could be 10 to 15 inches of rain today. Some areas could get 20 inches, so that's a large amount of rainfall and water. Just in the past 24 hours in the whole region, Fort Lauderdale had over 7 inches of rain according to the National Weather Service, and that was the most in the region. So as we know, it doesn't take a lot of water to flood. So if you can imagine 7 inches plus another 10 or 15.
And then this is going through for another many hours. It's hard to know what the rainfall, it's not a really, really wet storm. And how fast is the storm moving?
About 8 miles an hour, so it's sped up a little bit. Over last night, it was slowing down. It's kind of been, I'm sure everyone is feeling this, where it's been kind of closer and closer, it seems like, but it's never really hit. But now it's starting to hit the Keys, and it's actually here. So it's gonna keep moving up the coast, but it still takes time.
Yeah, it takes time. It's moving slow, so that affects the rainfall, how much rain's in the storm. But the other thing too is hopefully as it moves through, it might start losing some of its intensity.
We'll see. It's still expected to be pretty strong for
Not
a
that
while,
I'm the National Hurricane Center, but I'm hoping. That's my hope, okay?
One last thing for you, Doreen, is curfews. Broward announced this morning that they would stop their curfew, which is still underway, at 10 a.m. on Monday. Obviously, that could change based on the weather, but they did give us a time. Palm Beach County was under a curfew as of 3 p.m. Saturday and hasn't sent an end date, so that's still ongoing.
Okay, so we'll know possibly what their curfew might be lifted by our next broadcast.
maybe later today.
Yeah,
I don't know,
so
based on
we'll
how-
have that for you. As soon as we have all this information, we're going to be bringing it to you in our next broadcast or future broadcast as the information comes in. But let's just talk about the mandatory curfew for a second. Tell me, what does that mean?
Well, at least for Broward, they said they're not going to arrest you, but they don't want you outside. They really don't want to deal with people out on the roads because, one, it's unsafe, and two, as we talked a little bit about yesterday, that officers and emergency personnel aren't going to come out, and sometimes they can't because they're worried about their own equipment and their own lives if you have very strong winds to be able to save you. So they really don't want people outside in these circumstances.
Correct.
One, for their officer safety, but also obviously for the people's safety.
Correct, too.
So they might not arrest you in Broward, they said. They just don't want to really deal with that.
This isn't about arresting you. This is about keeping you safe. It's about keeping them safe. They have families. You have families. We all have families. You know, shelter in place. That's my favorite saying, you know. Stay where you are. Do not leave your house to go out and take a peek to see if a tree's down because it could hit you in the head. So that's, you know, those are the things that my brother-in-law, shout out to him at Delray Beach Police, works in the communication center. People start flooding 911 with needless calls. 911 only used in a life-threatening emergency. So again, do that.
And another thing I just wanted to add is Miami-Dade County does not have a county-wide curfew, but there are cities that have curfews. And the mayor of Miami-Dade said that he was going to issue curfews after the fact. So that's the other thing. There are curfews for the storm, but as maybe people saw in Houston, there are also curfews to make sure that people aren't looting and taking advantage of it. So expect curfews to possibly continue into next week, even after the storm passes, for the safety of people's property. And
of course.
So that's going to be something that we're maybe dealing with for a while.
Okay, and the other thing about that too, guys, if, communications now as we enter this phase of the storm becomes a very critical point of information. So hopefully whatever information we have about that, curfews, what you should do, we're going to be bringing those to you. So feel free again to go to sunsentinel.com and look at our storm coverage frequently if you're able to on your cell phone. And I just want to emphasize that we are working around the clock to help you stay safe. Okay, is that it for you?
For now, we're going to go to Talia. She'll give me a break. I need a breather, and then I got one more thing for you.
Okay, we all need a break. We already need. Okay, Talia, so take it away.
So just reminding you, I'm seeing some comment or questions. Keep asking them. We'll answer them in the next show. We did see a question about live cams, if they're up and if they're working. Here is a shot of live cam from Lauderdale by the Sea. We will be trying to show you live shots throughout the day as we find them, although some of the cameras have been taken down for the safety of the storm.
People, it's been blown down.
Looks like it's down a little. So sorry about that. We will get that back to you if we can. That
was brought to you, sponsored by Wilma. No, that was sponsored to you by Irma. I've got Wilma on my mind.
Are we on?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what
so
else you got?
here's the live cam. You can see the winds are going pretty rough. It's raining out there, so please stay safe. Don't go try and see this with your own eyes. Just watch it from the screen.
Yeah, if you can log on.
We have another video coming up shot by Hunter Boyle in Sugarloaf Key, which is between Marathon and Key West. You can see it's a little more violent winds down there. So as we've been saying, just be safe and try not to record this from outside. If you're going to be recording these videos and sending them to us, please make sure that you are safe. Your safety is our #1 priority.
Stephen, what else you got?
Well, the other thing that we saw yesterday was, obviously, as people are leaving, sometimes what's left behind is something that's also a story. And there were some animals that were left behind in Palm Beach County, and some animal control officers found about 49 abandoned dogs in the county. Some were tethered to trees and some were in crates, but they were able to to rescue them before the worst of the storm came.
Seriously.
So
That breaks my heart. I'm sorry. If
Seriously.
you do that, you
What
don't
did they
deserve
do
a
with the
pet.
dogs? Did they rescue them and bring them somewhere?
yeah, they're able to rescue them. They have, you know, the animal control agencies able to bring them in, and other people were also surrendering their animals before they evacuated to actually bring
Right.
them into safety.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, officials, they were going to go around the county until winds hit 35 miles an hour, and obviously we're exceeding that at this point.
Right,
so
right.
they were able to save at least 49 animals yesterday, and
That's a shout out to you guys.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Just one last thing. It is a felony. It says, just reading a story from one of our colleagues, anyone found to be leaving a dog tied or trapped outside during a hurricane will be charged with a felony
As they should be.
for animal cruelty. So
Absolutely. Okay, so one last thing I'm going to say to guys, as we're going in this, we're in it together. So as we enter this phase where we're in the storm happening and we're going to be seeing a lot of aftermath, we're going to be bringing that to you. We're going to get ready to sign off so we can gather for our next broadcast, which is going to be at 11:15 a.m. Please like it, share it with all your friends. Maybe it'll help them if they don't have access to information and communications or TV or something. Remember, again, you can get free access to sunsentinel.com. All of our newsrooms, we have reporters out in the field. We've got photojournalists, photographers. We are fanning out all across Broward, Palm Beach, and Miami-Dade County. We've got you covered, boots on the ground, and we're going to be bringing you more about that in the next broadcast. So everybody, please stay safe out there. I'm Doreen Christensen.